This is Sheila Triplet. I'm making this video in response to June 22nd's March for Charleena Lyles. Unfortunately, Charleena Lyles was killed in an incident with the police June 18th. The first march that I participated in was June 20th, where we went from the area for which she lived near Sandpoint and walked basically to the University of Washington. In doing so, what I hoped to gain was basically justice, that someone would look into the situation seriously, because the people drew to the streets and was very upset about it. Soon after, on June 22nd, many people met up in Westlake. It's like a little park, Westlake, like mall area. And many people expressed their feelings in general about the situation that had taken place that Sunday, which was tragic. I did not personally know Charleena. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Charleena or Charleena Lyles. I didn't personally know her, but because this took place especially in the city that I live in, it hit home. And the fact that it was mentioned that she had a disability, a mental disability, struck a chord with me, because my brother is disabled. And I fear every day when he walks out of the house. So I know what people go through when their families have disabilities, and you may come in contact, just in case they come in contact with the police, you want them handled with care and not killed. But the reason I'm making this video is I wanted to express my apology, my deepest apology, for that march I attended on the 22nd. That particular day, as Kshama Sawant, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, began to speak, two of the ladies, basically seeming to lead the march, decided to, at that point, walk off. And they decided to start the march as Kshama Sawant, I believe it's pronounced, started to speak. And the group that was part of the march, which was mostly everyone, took off and followed the two ladies. One of the ladies carried a small flyer such as this one. And this flyer was given to me by one of the ladies that was at the front of the group. There's a few things I'd like to say. First, let me address the family of Charleena. Again, I'm apologizing for disrespecting you. I did not come there to disrespect you. And I apologize for my actions in that. However, I had great discomfort in even seeing Kshama. at the march, because in the past I feel that whenever there's a tragic situation in the African American culture, this is a perfect opportunity for Sawant, Kshama, to come out, campaign for whatever agenda that she has. And I feel beguiled by one of those situations. And pretty much did whatever I could to help her movement at that time, to get nothing even as simple as thank you from her, or as little as support. And my support, I was expecting the same kind of support I gave. I wasn't looking for monetary gain or money. But thank you, and being kind enough to at least listen to the song I was singing. I sang a song and looked over, and Sawant, or Kshama and her group, was walking off. I thought that was too rude. So when Kshama got up to speak, and the ladies at the front of the group began to walk off, I made a choice. My choice was to follow the march. And even though the family, one member of the family began to say, hey, she has a voice, let the woman speak. Many of us was already familiar with Kshama. So we left. And we went to several different locations. It seemed like to me no one really knew where they were going, but they kind of figured it out kind of like at the last minute, like we'll turn here or we'll turn there, or we'll go to City Hall, we'll go to the police department, and we'll, I didn't really stress on the fact that we didn't really know where we were going. I just went with the group, and the point to me was to shut down downtown and make them hear that something was wrong. However, when we got to one of the courts, I believe on 5th Avenue, near the library, I'm not sure which court it is, we were nearing to closing the march at that point, and I asked the two ladies at the beginning, at the front of the group, for their telephone numbers, because I did want to talk to them and ask them, why did you guys just take off and leave? Even though I don't care to see Kshama at one of our, and when I say our, black people's tragedies, I felt also uncomfortable that they just walked off the way they did. I wasn't necessarily comfortable with that either. But if I'm going to choose the lesser of two evils, I decided to follow the two girls. Well, both of the ladies, it wasn't girls, they were ladies, gave me their names and phone numbers. One of them seemed to give me a nickname, and the other one seemed to give me a real name, but they both gave me wrong telephone numbers. And that doesn't work for me either. You'll never see me at a march, campaigning, following you, doing anything with you. I'm very disappointed that that's what you both did. And I'm no longer interested in following any group at all. Now, to the family of Charleena, or Charleena Lyles, I've had my own tragedies. That's what brought me back to Seattle. I'd been gone from Seattle for many years. And recently my mother took ill and was taken from my brother by the state of Washington. While in nursing care, I was basically told that I should put her on a morphine drip, which is a humane way to let someone go, and stop feeding her so that she should just go ahead and die. Because I did not do that, I believe she was killed in a nursing home. And I smiled to keep from crying every day. I have a reason to cry every day because I'm not an attorney. I'm not even a paralegal, but I had to draw up some papers and go into a courtroom and ask a judge for my mother's right to life. And less than 24 hours later, she basically was deceased. I was asked by the attorney at Lightem, or a representative that takes care of my mother's needs, that was presented to her by the state of Washington. Well, what if she has a heart attack and nobody notices and she actually dies? I would then say that was an act of God. How could it be that less than 24 hours, that's how she dies? And now I've got to become somebody that can fight that system that I believe took my mother's life. I've got to learn to be somebody that can keep that from happening to someone else's family members. And I'm not into politics. You said, I don't care about all those politics and blah, blah, blah. I really don't care about politics either. But I've come to learn that I'd better get involved in some politics. I'd better learn something about some politics, or any damn thing can happen. HIPAA laws protect those types of deaths. Legally, nobody even has to tell us about my mother's physical, medical problems, because we were not in control of anything for my mother. My mother signed documents and lost a $400,000 home while she was not on medication to even think properly. And now that home is worth quite a lot of money. And me and my brother are living in a tight apartment downtown when we should be owning a home with space to give renting rooms to people, while he has his own room and I have my own room. You mean to tell me we're living in squalor while somebody is living in my mother's house? I'm beyond the top pretty angry about that one. So if you tell me that I can't relate to how you feel, I can relate to how you feel. I know how it feels. That happened in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. 4 years later, I still cry. I still cry often. Going to the march for your relative made me feel a little bit better. It gave me a release. And I only hope that when they pay your family, and they will have to, they should, they are responsible, that you guys take some of that money and make sure those children get a first-class education. Because somebody in your family is going to have to become attorneys, and if they have the passion to, doctors, scientists. But to come out of this thing the same way you went in is another tragedy. That would be a second tragedy to me. That whatever monies the government or the city or the state of Washington ends up giving you, I know and hope and pray that you would not take that money and just spend it until it's gone. I hope that you will invest in those children's lives so those children will be able to come back and fight for the people, because we are going to need fighters, not people that just consume, because that's what the black community has become, a people that just consume. We don't make anything, we don't own anything, we are just consumers. And there used to be a time that I had a proud feeling in my community, and that was before drugs was dropped off in our community. So I apologize for what I have done to you, but now it's your choice. What are you going to do for you? And that's up to you.